Rachel Zegler, the young star of the forthcoming bomb that is Snow White, says it's all right. She's moving to New York City. But the Access crazy journalists out there, the drive-bys, refuse to say it's because perhaps her time is drawing nigh, her career shifty, and now it may be time for Zegler to do a big switcheroo. It's a career change time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we, as ever, endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve. What a joy it is to do so. And today, we are going to be as kind as we possibly can be to young Rachel Zegler, for she is in the midst of a major problem. The Access drive-bys, they are doing everything they can to make her career fly by. But, folks, we're here to tell you things are stuttering, stalling, sputtering, and it is falling drastically. As we get ready to talk about this latest fiasco for Snow White, consider clicking the like button. This is out of Screen Rant. It says, Snow White's origin change copies a decision Disney already made in the 78% hit show. In other words, this headline wants you to believe that Disney already did this and people liked it. And again, we'll show you in just a moment, this is so bad that Zegler may be having to do a career change. This is why they are on the utter defense. Oh, let's get the author here. Adrian Tyler is the author of this one. Disney's live-action Snow White remake has been confirmed to have made a big but necessary change to the title's character's name, which copies a decision Disney had already made in a TV show with a 78% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. See, they already did this, folks. They've already done this before. You are just overreacting. You're just overreacting. Since the 2010s, Disney has been riding the wave of live-action remakes of some of its animated movies, and though not all of them have succeeded, the studio continues to make the most out of it. Disney still has a long list of live-action remakes coming up. Oh, boy. And next in line is Snow White, directed by Mark Webb. Now, what Miss Tyler is not explicitly saying is that people are unhappy because Snow White, the character, her name is based on the color of her skin, just the way that Black Panther is a character based on ethnicity, right? And every once in a while, that's okay. In fact, I would say this is really not my preference for characters whatsoever. I don't really like this idea, but Snow White is who Snow White is. And her skin color references her nobility in Germany at the time, because only those who can afford to not be in the sun are those who can be out of the sun. Snow White is not in the sun. She is nobility. Her skin is as pale as can be. The Snow White live-action remake will keep the same premise as the animated classic, but like every other remake of this kind, it's expected to have various changes. Starring in Snow White are Rachel Zegler as the title character, Gal Gadot as the evil queen, and Ansu Kabia as the huntsman. Snow White has been surrounded by different controversy since its cast was announced, and it only grew once the first teaser trailer was released. And what they don't say is 98% of the controversy always comes from Rachel Zegler. Disney's live-action Snow White name change uses Once Upon a Time's explanation, a little TV show. But I'm here to tell you, even the headline is misleading. Guess what, folks? They're not even going to be using the actual version here. Hang tight, and then we'll get to Rachel Zegler's career change. The Brothers Grimm's version of Snow White explains the origin of the character's name, and it's purely based on her physical appearance. The story begins with the queen sewing at an open window during a snowfall. The queen pricks her finger with the needle, and 3 drops of blood fall onto the snow on the black window sill. The queen then says to herself how she wishes to have a daughter with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Sometime later, the queen dies, giving birth to a daughter she names Snow White. That's actually not true. In the original story, the father names her Snow White in honor of the mother. Although Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs doesn't explain the character's name, that's the original animated movie from Disney, it's understood that it's the same as in the Brothers Grimm's tale due to her physical appearance. This will be different in the live-action Snow White remake, as confirmed by Zegler, who started all of this by coming out as soon as she got the part and said, I'm not bleaching my skin. I'm not going to bleach my skin, like anybody ever wanted her to. This will be different in the live-action Snow White remake, as confirmed by Zegler, who in an interview with Variety explained that her character's name comes from having survived a snowstorm when she was a baby. She's like Davy Crockett, but instead of killing bars when she's 3, she kills blizzards. She's that powerful. Zegler mentioned that this comes from another version of Snow White, though she didn't specify which one. Here comes the defense, folks. But fans of the character will remember this change was already made by Disney in the TV series Once Upon a Time. So we've mocked Zegler for this because we don't think that this is real. Here comes Screen Rant to the defense. Created by Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, Once Upon a Time had two main settings: a fantasy world where fairy tales come to life, and a fictional seaside town called Storybrooke, where fairy tale characters were transported and their memories were wiped, like a Shrek version of Men in Black. One of the show's main characters is Snow White, and the origin of her name was also changed. Good Lord, Screen Rant, just tell us, what was it? In an episode of Once Upon a Time, it was revealed that Snow White was born during one of the harshest winters in the Enchanted Forest. Her mother, Queen Eva, named her Snow White because of that, but also because she had snow white skin. So there you go. That's the best that the Access journalists can do. That's the best. She has the name Snow White because she was born in a cold winter, but also she's got white skin, pale white skin. So the whole article is bunk. The entire article. She didn't survive a blizzard. She didn't fight back as an infant in a snowstorm. Listen, Screen Rant has even tried to find what in the world Zegler's talking about. They can't find it. So let's talk about the career change. Apologies for making that last so long, folks. Had to get through the article. Okay. So here's IndieWire. And this is by Harrison Richland. This has largely been overlooked. You can see this came out October 5th. It's been 10 days in the making before we could get to this because almost nobody's connected these dots, and I want to connect them. It says Rachel Zegler prefers working in New York where nobody gives a blank over stifling Hollywood. Now, what is this IndieWire article all about? Well, it's about Zegler and her peeps putting it out there that she wants to be in New York. Well, what's in New York that Zegler would want to be there for, and why would she be saying this? Because this is all business, right? I mean, she's got a career that she wants to make millions and millions, and she will. Maybe not meritoriously, but she'll make millions and millions. So this is a business. So why is the business of Zegler saying that it wants to relocate to New York? Let's find out. I've got a good reason for you. It says after filming Snow White in the UK for 6 months, Zegler was over the moon about not only making her Broadway debut, but also getting to stay on the East Coast for a while. It says ever since her debut in Steven Spielberg's adaptation of Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim's West Side Story, which I bet Spielberg regrets at this point, New Jersey native Zegler has quickly become one of Hollywood's go-to young starlets if you want to burn your business to the ground. And I don't mean that to be mean to Zegler. As we said at the beginning of the video, we're trying to be nice. Zegler hasn't had a hit. Zegler hasn't had a single win. Her best movie was out of the Hunger Games franchise, and it was the lowest performing Hunger Games movie of all time. Zegler is anathema to success. But here's what Zegler says. The reason I fell in love with this industry is not because of this town, Zegler said of Hollywood. In fact, I kind of can't stand this town. First, we've heard of it. First, how about that? She's going to Broadway, and suddenly she can't stand Hollywood. She continues, I don't like that there's a town built around the industry that I work in. Why? Why would that bother you? It's stifling and isolating and weird. In New York, nobody gives a blank. In other words, New York, that's where she wants to be. Zegler is currently back on the East Coast for a while, starring in a Broadway production of Romeo and Juliet with Heartstopper star Kit Connor. This comes after a 6-month shoot in the UK for Disney's live-action reinterpretation of Snow White, which was preceded by a long shoot in Poland for the Hunger Games. Now, wait a minute. If she's just left a 6-month stint in the UK again for Snow White, 6 months is a full movie, folks. The rumors are seemingly coming true. 3 reshoots. This third one, they may have reshot the entire film. 6 months, and she's just now coming back from the UK. It's not until you have to go around the world filming in different cities that you realize how grateful you are for the diversity of New York, said Zegler, coming back to the city after being away so long. And I'm just going to tell you, she is so terrible at this. She is so, wait till you hear this. When I came home from my year in Europe, going to my bodega where people speak in Spanish to me, I was like, oh my God, I missed you, Enrique. Oh my gosh. So Zegler went to Europe, and Europe isn't diverse. It isn't diverse enough for Zegler. Europe. How many countries are in Europe? And Europe, where the Spanish language literally takes its origin. She went to Europe and she misses New York. I get New York's diverse. I get it. But good grief. Another reason Zegler loves New York is that she doesn't feel the pressure of trying to impress there. She said to Variety, people really wear whatever the blank they want. If I go out and I'm like, is this too fancy? Someone is definitely dressed more ridiculous than me in the best way. So why are the reasons Zegler gives that she wants to move to New York, New York? Well, one, because Europe just wasn't good enough for Zegler. She needs those bodegas. I almost said Boyega there, sorry. Star Wars reference. So she needs her bodegas. And the other reason is because when she dresses fancy in Hollywood, she's too fancy. But when she dresses fancy in New York, someone else is fancier. Zegler's got some real reasons for moving to New York, you can tell. What's the real reason that Zegler's moving to New York, folks? Broadway. And why would a young actress such as Zegler be going to Broadway? Because there's no way she can continue her career in Hollywood with bomb after bomb after bomb, disaster after disaster. And she is terrible at what she does relating to people and to the press and to consumers and to audience goers. But if she goes to Broadway, she can be her normal, narcissistic self, and there just won't be that many interviews. There won't be that much spotlight. People will go. It's kind of in vogue to be the sort of person she is on Broadway, but that's a career change. If Zegler goes to Broadway, she's not making movies or as many movies. And I'm not here to tell you that Zegler will never come back to film. She's completely thrown out of the industry. No, but I'm here to tell you that the reason that they want to create the narrative that she likes New York, she loves New York, she doesn't like Hollywood, she doesn't like Europe, they're not good enough, she needs New York, is because they need to give her a reason that she's choosing a less than career that she can go to. Folks, I'm not here to bemoan or demean Broadway or live theater. But if you're going from Disney's Snow White, if you're going from Hunger Games and being the starring actress to being someone playing a role on Broadway, and if you are presenting it as if you want to stay, it's a downgrade. Just flat out is. Ask anybody who's on Broadway if they would like to be the leading character in a major movie, a blockbuster, and they'll tell you yes. Zegler is being undressed in front of the public, taken down at least a few pegs and put into Broadway. And that's where she likely should stay, because I think truly she can be successful there. I think that what Spielberg did, lifting this lady into the limelight, was not a good idea. I don't think she was ready for it. I don't think that she was handled well. And frankly, I think that the Hollywood oligarchs, the studios, decided to put her into positions where she would fail. In fact, I even believe that she was cast as Snow White because they wanted someone who would stir up controversy, because I think that fit their agenda of the day. Folks, that is the story for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope now you understand what's going on. They may tell you that everything's fine, everything's fun, but Zegler, she just might be done, at least for a little while, in Tinseltown. She says she hates it, so it'll be okay. Folks, we hope you didn't hate this video. Consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to head on out of here, we say it every time at the end of every video because we mean it. Keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.
This is Wilton the Troll reporting for That's Park Place, and I'm surrounded by loving and adoring people who are peacefully trying to make sure that poor kids aren't cold in the winter. And just behind me, you can see a totally natural bonfire for baking cookies or making marshmallows.
Yeah, so, Wilson, we're really appreciate the effort and stuff, but we're looking for real and, accurate news reporting on that Park Place.
So not like most news outlets, huh?
No.